And starting off with $100, the plan is to get it to $1,000. So every week, I'm going to keep you updated where I'm at, where the money's in my account. Every unit is $5. Every half unit, $2.50. I put $5. I put a full unit, the $5 on every line and prop, and then $2.50 as my half unit for now on my Degenerate designation. And then I plan to up the units later as we hopefully make more money. The Buccaneers, 3.5-point favorites. I like it. Jaden Daniels is a rookie with a bad offensive line. He's going to run around a lot, but it's going to be a little rough. Their secondary is still bad. Dan Quinn's going to need some work before he can really fix that. The Buccaneers have got offensive weapons. They aren't going to go at them. I feel good about that. I'm looking at the Dolphins, 3.5-point favorites again. And yes, we prefer 2.5 points. It's always better, but the Dolphins are hot at the beginning of the season. They always are, and they're going to be playing at home, and you can count on those offensive weapons and Mike to come up with some very clever, offensive schemes to really get them going. He always does early on. They put up a ton of points early on, so I like them on the spread. I also like the Vikings over the Giants because the Giants just aren't very good. And the Vikings aren't great, but Justin Jefferson does provide a great blanket. You still have Jordan Addison, who's really good. You've got Jones in the backfield, so you got a better run game. You just have a better floor for this offense than the Giants do. And as such, I think the Vikings do take the win. It's only a 1.5-point spread. I would take it. And again, I am quoting Caesars Sportsbook and obviously the day I placed a bet. So some of these lines may have changed. Double check before you place any bets. I also like 3 points for the Texans over the Colts. Anthony Richardson is really inconsistent. He's had a lot of problems in his career. People got way overhyped on him because of his high his high abilities, his physical abilities, his arm, his athleticism, but ultimately the guy's very inconsistent and has a lot of problems. The Texans are well coached, know what they're doing. It's 3 points. It makes sense. Take the Texans. Lastly, I have one underdog upset for the week. The Steelers over the Falcons. Plus, on the money line, I believe it's plus 140. Take them. I'm telling you, the Falcons, number one, are a little overrated, but number two, they're definitely overrated early on in the season. When you look at the quarterback, Kirk Cousins, he's 37 and coming off an Achilles injury. That's a lot. And I know, he's never been the most athletic quarterback. So you're not super concerned about an Achilles, but at the same time, it still affects your ability to move. And he does have a better run game than he had in Minnesota. But his receiving core is a big downgrade. Darnell Mooney and Drake London do not at all stack up to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, which is what he had last year. Now you take into the fact that Drake London is not all that fast. So the number one receiver is not this true number one who could do anything you need him to. He's a little slow. So there's that downside. Now, Darnell's fast, but that's it, right? So you have two guys. You have Darnell Mooney who's fast, and then you've got Drake London who's good, but not particularly fast. It's not terrible. It's just not stacked, though. He's got a good run game, so there is that floor for him, but it's not the same. And it's new receivers, and he has to get used to that on top of the talent differential. And on top of that, lastly, and this is so important, the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, it's his first year calling plays, Zach Robinson. It will take him a minute to adjust, to get used to it, and he will make mistakes. So expect that first game to look clunky. The Steelers are well coached. They have a good defense just like every year, and they're going to come out there. They're going to give him some problems, and the offense won't be great, but they still have a solid run game. You saw they looked so much better at the end of last year. With Russell, he may not be world class, but he doesn't need to be. Even with Mason Rudolph, you saw the improvement. So expect them to come out with the win. It'll be a big shocker. That's where I'm going. In terms of my props, I'm going to keep it simple. It's week 1, so let's keep it relatively simple here. We're going to go with Baker Mayfield and Tua Tagovailoa at 2 touchdown passes. The odds aren't like amazing, but they're solid. They're props. It's week 1. Don't go too crazy on week 1. It'll get you. That's for certain. So again, 1 prop for Baker, 2 touchdowns, 1 prop for Tua. And then my degenerate designation of the week, it is week 1, so I'm just going to go with a simple 3-leg parlay. Baker Mayfield, 250 yards. Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns. And a 6.5-point spread for the Buccaneers. That's over plus 400. I try to keep them at plus 400 or more. Sometimes if it's a plus 300 or something on a money line bet, I might take it. But generally, I try to reach a little bit. I'm going to be back every single week this season. I'm certainly looking forward to watching football again.